Check 1 2 1 2. Here we go. You are now listening to the greatest, Taharka Bey. This is Moorish World TV. Oh, you say you want the truth? Well, I'm gonna give you the truth. I'm gonna give you the truth today. Let's go. Islam, welcome to another edition of Moorish World TV. I am your host, Brother Taharka Bey. I am here about to be interviewed by our brother Marwan from Morocco. And so at this point, I am going to fall back, and I am going to be interviewed by the interviewer. So I'll be the interviewee. Brother Marwan will be the interviewer, and he is calling me from the country of Morocco. Brother, the floor is yours. I'm the national representative of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and we are affectionately known as the Noble Temples. As you can see, the picture behind us is a picture of our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and we are very intentful in following the specific teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and not verging off from it. So we kind of consider that orthodox Islamism, and we call it Islamism, not specifically Islam. And the Moorish Science Temple of America is an organization that's predicated upon separating the concepts of mental slavery that many of us, we whether we agree with it or not, we suffer from it here in America as well around the world. And we're talking about those people of African descent and African origin, whether it be by the slave trade or by colonization. At some level, we suffer from remnants of that experience. And so the Moorish Science Temple of America addresses that experience as it relates to those who are called Black people or African Americans here in America.
We go and start my first question. I mean, I just want to thank you for accepting this invitation. It was really difficult finding someone from the Moorish culture in general who's able to speak to me personally and to my people, the people who are watching me, and give us like a closer look into the Moorish culture. And that's a question that I may ask later, which is the lack maybe of communication, the lack of reaching, as a Moroccan I'm talking now, the lack of reaching to the Moorish people and have a general idea or knowledge. I mean, we didn't know the Moorish that was existed before as a Moroccan, and as are you claiming now the Moorish is part of the Moroccan culture, and as a Moroccan we didn't know something called Moorish existed before until recently in the recent processes when we saw like one of the Moroccan, or like someone who was holding a Moroccan flag, and the video went really viral. So I want to thank you for accepting the invitation, and you're making me feel awkward by not wearing a Moroccan outfit. I know, but you do. So yeah, that's really nice.
So this is the Fez, and it's sort of a reminder of our ancient forefathers and ancestors. You know, it's more of a reminder. The slave trade experience that we have suffered here in America tends to put us in a position of forgetting our ancient culture, history, and customs.
Yeah.
So many of us here in America are not even familiar with our descent nature. And our descent nature is what we are subscribing to, is that before, and I'm a talker, so you can talk me at any moment. You can stop me at any moment.
Oh no.
So many of us here in America, you know, we go by terms Black, African American, which we consider those misnomers, like, people are not black people. And in 1913, um, uh, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, born in North Carolina here in America, came teaching our people here in America that you are not black. No person is a color. He's not yellow, he's not red, he's not black, and you're not black.
Yeah.
And with that being said, he gave us the ability to look deeper into history and make a connection with our ancient forefathers and foremothers
Yeah.
before the slave trade.
Yeah.
And before the slave trade, we come to find out that the slaves that came to America, they were plucked straight from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. And at that time, that area was dominated by what you would describe as Moors. At the time of the slave trade, Spain had expelled the Moors and pushed them back into North Africa.
Yeah.
And after they were pushed into North Africa, they were targeted for the slave trade. And so when you look at the slave trade, whether it was from Ghana, whether it was from North Africa, whether from Mauritania, those people were the ones captured, sold, and put into servitude here in America. And we trace ourselves to those people.
So you mean when you say sold to who and from who?
Sold to Europeans by those ancestors on the shores of Africa. Absolutely. Traded. Absolutely. And all sorts of bartering with human cargo. But they all came from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa primarily.
I see.
Primarily. And we connect to that as our origin before entering into the Americas.
So, okay. So now you're saying, trading. But my part or my specific question, which is the entire Moroccan people are asking, what is the connecting point, like the historical connecting point between the Moors and Morocco? That's the specific, maybe.
The specific connecting point where the confusion comes is people assume that we are connecting to the Moroccan state. We're not connecting to the Moroccan state. We're connecting to the Moroccans before there was a Moroccan state.
Okay.
Before the state of Morocco in 1950 came into existence, there were people there called Moors. You see? And before even Islam came into that area, there were people called Moors. Okay. So we're connecting to way before the Moroccan state, way before Muhammad V, way before Muhammad VI. We're connecting way before that. So where the confusion lies is when you see us with the Moorish flag, we don't describe this as a Moroccan flag. We describe it as a Moorish flag.
Okay.
Because the Moorish people had been there before the institutional government called the Moroccan government or the Kingdom of Morocco. It was people already there.
I totally got your point. I totally agree with you on this in this part. But as we know, I mean, historically, Morocco is one of the oldest countries in the world, and for sure, you guys know that. And at the same time, maybe the flag. This is the confusing part. Choosing the flag as, I would say, the logo very much of the Moorish people. Choosing specifically this flag as, I would say, it's as a new flag of the Moroccan side. That's not really that old flag. It's not like hundreds of years before. It's only in the last century. So and you're claiming that the Moorish people or the Moorish culture existed even way before that. Yes. So why choosing this flag specifically?
Because this flag that the Moroccan government waved is an adaptation of the original Moorish flag. The original Moorish flag was there before before the Muslims adopted the red flag with the 5-pointed green star with the red borders. If you and we look into specifics, we're saying that the flag predates the Moroccan government. That's our position. Our position.
Yeah.
And the Moroccan government that comes in, whether it be the 1920s, whether it be in the 1950s, they adopted the flag that was already there. It's kind of like this.
Yeah.
The United States flag is not unique. Not
Yeah.
unique at all.
Sure.
It's an adaptation of the British flag because they separated themselves from the British crown. The flag of Canada is not unique. The flag of Australia is not unique. It's just an adaptation. So our position is that the flag predates the Kingdom of Morocco.
Okay. Okay. So let's just move now. I think it's all clear for me and probably for the people who are watching. Let's move to the religion beliefs. What is?
And let me say this, Brother Marwan. A
Yeah.
lot of this is new to you, and it's going to be like, huh?
I mean,
no, listen, and I have no problem with that. But I would implore you to, like, if you're able to go to fairs and try to find some ancient relics, try to find some ancient writings on the wall where you see a red flag and you see the green star or the dot, maybe, and then you, I get it. I get it. Those who normally people who conquer an area, and the French was in the mood of conquering Morocco. The Spanish was in the mood for conquering Morocco. And in fact, they used Muhammad V. He goes into exile as a sultan and comes out a king because something happened right there. And so a lot of this history predates what the unsuspecting public is aware of.
Sure, and I'm not really I mean, wondering about the information that you're giving me, and as that we found a lot of information regards to the Moorish culture, but that's why I'm interviewing you, just to hear from you, because nobody gonna knows maybe before even more than you guys. I mean, you guys are part of the history, and your information should be considered. That's why I'm speaking to you right now. But before I ask the following question, have you visited Morocco before?
No, we have never. I have never. I have friends of mine that have. I have never. See, this is the thing.
Yeah.
We're not, and I want to be clear.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be adopted by Morocco. Let's be clear.
Yeah, I mean, I totally got your point. I totally got. You're just proud of a part of the culture, historical culture that you had before, and you're connecting to us, to it.
Absolutely, and we're not connecting to the Moroccan state, nor specifically the Moroccan culture as Moroccans experience it today. For we have an experience that is that's total opposite of your experience.
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally understand that. I totally respect that. But just about the religion beliefs, is there any cross? Yeah, between the religion, I would say, the African, North African / American belief, or is there any specific beliefs to the Moorish people?
Yes, our what we connect to is Islam. However, our connection is more intricate than just saying salam or salam alaikum or 5 prayers and make hajj. Our connection is a little bit more deeper than that. What
is it like the practices and everything?
This is what I'm about to say. What we term our religion is Islamism. We make the ism connection to it as a form of practicing something all the time, taking action with it. So, for example, we are not compelled to make salat 5 times a day as you may understand it.
Yeah.
Prostration. You see, like maybe in the East or in Morocco, people go by the clergy, which we call it in America, or they might call it the Sharia or whomever.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. We don't go by that.
Yeah.
We look at the Quran of
Yeah.
Mecca, and we call it the Quran of Mecca, and we have our Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
So let me just hold in that very quick.
It's going to be a lot of information, brother.
Yeah, that's what all I want. There's a lot of information actually.
Right.
So this is a Quran. Is the Quran a copy of?
No.
It's not.
No.
So can you explain that to me?
Let me bring you up to speed real quick.
Okay.
So when we look at the Quran of Mecca, it's at the temple right now. When we look at the Quran of Mecca, we look at it for what it is.
Yeah.
In the Holy Quran of Mecca, when it speaks of prayer, it doesn't even speak of 5 times a day. It actually speaks of 3. Nor does it tell you specifically how to do it. In fact, it tells you multiple ways that you can pray. But because it became institutionalized and you have Sharia or you have jurists, they begin to interpret how people should pray. We don't subscribe to that. We say that when one prays, they should go deep into the heart and commune with the universal energy, spirit that we call Allah.
Yeah.
Okay? So now, this here is, we look at the Quran as for what it is. The Quran means the recital. That's what it means.
Yeah.
The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America is another recital. Something is being recited to us. Yeah. So when you look at the Holy Quran of Mecca, most people get really bent out of shape because, they got a Quran and But in fact, when you look at the Holy Quran of Mecca, the stories in the Holy Quran of Mecca predates the Holy Quran of Mecca.
Okay.
You got the stories of Abraham. You have the stories of Jesus. You have the stories of Lot. You have the story. They predate the Quran. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we don't have any of those stories.
Yeah.
None. What we have is practical lessons.
Yeah.
We have practical lessons to help us unfold the God or Allah that dwells within us to make us better person. We look at more from a, if you will, from an esoteric perspective when we look at Islam, and we call it Islamism.
Okay. So totally clear. So what about like when you pray? You said you pray 5 times a day, as you mentioned, right?
No.
Okay.
We do not shun, or if you will, we do not say don't pray 5 times a day.
Yeah.
We say pray 100 times a day if you can.
Yeah.
But the Moorish American congressional prayer, the prayer when we come together, we don't make prostration in public. We just don't do it. Our prayer, we pray raising on a 7 or raising on a 10. This is our custom. This is our culture. And we don't use other cultures to dictate how prayer should be made. Because as I said, in the Quran, it says you can pray to Allah on camelback, laying on your side, standing. If you are in fear of an enemy, pray standing. You understand? And that's what it says in the Quran. So our congressional prayer is like this. We rise on the 7th.
Yeah. So okay. You mentioned that there is a historical communication between the Moorish, and I'm not gonna say Morocco because I feel like you're not very much preferring this term, but very much the region of Morocco, the place, right? So very much are the identity of Morocco. I heard you in one of your lives mentioning the king of Morocco, and I catch the live in the very last, and I didn't really know what was the conversation about, but I hear like kind of like recommendations. We're not asking for recommendations. We're not dagging to the
That's
Moroccan
right.
very much, but what is the recommendation of the
Let
Morocco
me say this.
to adopt by Morocco? But what are you asking for exactly?
Listen, me, I'm not asking for anything. However, we do have some groups of Moorish American groups and persuasion that think that because we are descendant from ancient Moroccans, that we have some sort of modern connection to Morocco. That's really not true,
And why?
because that's not true, because Morocco is a kingdom. It's a state-run, structured government that we are not citizens of. We just not. If we wanted to be a citizen, we could come and be naturalized, of course. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's now from a historical perspective. If a Moroccan identify with me as I identify with the indigenous people of Morocco, not the status quo structured government of Morocco, but the indigenous people. If they identify with me, I identify with them, then we can work together.
yeah,
But from a governmental perspective, I
yeah,
don't see the Moroccan government not knowing the conditions of the people here in America that have been labeled Black people. The
yeah,
whole world, whether the Moroccan government or anybody, the citizens of Moroccan, never knew about a Moorish American, or any knew anything about our connection to the
yeah,
ancient Moroccans. You did know something about slavery. You did know something about the slave trade coming from those shores. You know what I mean? The
yeah.
government of
We know that,
Morocco knew that.
but when I say we didn't know anything about the Moorish,
No, no, no,
because
no.
that's what I'm saying. The lack of communication, the lack of
That's,
the information, and maybe from your side, guys, that
let
you're
me
not
let me let,
doing.
let me conclude.
Yeah,
Let me conclude real
yeah,
quick. What I'm saying is that if one wanted to assist us in our endeavors here, quite naturally, there is some historical data to show that we come from the indigenous people of Northwest Africa. There is data to show that,
What,
and maybe the
what type of data is this one?
historical context, and from historical data, history will show that. But many people are not in that depth into history either. Like, nobody never really sits back and think, man, how did, quote unquote, those Black people get in America? When you think about it, you think figuratively, oh, they took them from Africa, but you never think where in Africa. You see?
Yeah,
But there are some people that are more educated on the matter, and they know. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
they have never reached out to us.
yeah,
And so now we must do what the Moroccans did when it was the French dominating them.
yeah,
We must climb out of this.
yeah,
See, when the French was dominating in 1920, and that revolution happened,
yeah,
they didn't reach out, man. People just came together.
yeah,
The people of Morocco who identified as Moroccans, they came together. And it led the French into a stalemate.
yeah,
And French had to unite with Spain in order to quell this uprising, this nationalism. You
yeah,
see, and so I say this in closing.
yeah.
We have to depend on us primarily to come out of this situation. So I don't
Yeah.
think, I'm not asking for anything. That's not my position.
Okay, so as we're coming to the conclusion, you said that there are many Moorish groups, and that's
Yeah.
mean that there are many of the ideologies, the Moorish ideologies. Why this division? Why there is no one Moorish group?
Because what happens is, just like it always does with religion, our Moorish Science Temple of America organization is founded for the express purpose of to uplift our people, to wake our people up to their ancient identity.
Yeah,
But it's founded on religious principles.
yeah,
And just like Muhammad, when he ascends and transitions, you know what happened with Ali. You know what happened.
yeah,
The split begins to happen. The same thing when people into Christianity, when Jesus ascends, you know what happened. So it's no different today. The same thing happens. When Prophet Noble Drew Ali transitioned in 1929, a whole bunch of confusion happened. Until this day, the Moorish Science Temple of America idealistically have not recovered. And it's the same thing with the Sunni and the Shiite. They still haven't recovered. They still fighting from over 1,500 years ago. And we just 100 years in, so it's the same situation. But we don't fight like the Sunni and the Shiite. We have a different ideology and different approaches to the resolve to address the problem of racism, to address the problem of economic unfairness, to address the problem of unemployment. We have a different approach to it. But we interpret this all the same. No matter which Moorish group you are a part of, you interpret this all the same. But then there's another group that don't even read this, and they're called Moorish Nationals. Now, this group, they really are zealous about connecting to Morocco. They're really zealous about that.
Yeah, just regarding the flag. So when the people, I would say non-Moorish people, see the flag or see you guys wearing those outfits.
1913, Prophet Noble Drew Ali began to teach the science that we're talking about today.
Okay, but the flag, just regarding the flag, when the non-Moorish people see this flag and see you wearing those outfits, when the people ask you, what is this flag? Because we know, like most of the American people, they're not familiar with the Moroccan flag.
Right.
When they see you like wearing this outfit and raising this flag, what is the first question they ask you? Like when they ask you, who are you? What you guys are answering? Are you answering are you referring to Morocco at that part, or just
no? In fact, what happens is there's a certain, I don't know if you can really grasp this concept. There's a certain aura that goes with being a Moorish American. There's a certain aura. So when you walk the streets, people want to know more. They do not say, is that a Moroccan flag? People begin to say, that's our flag. And without even knowing. And so if I'm walking the street and I'm walking the flag, like for instance, they just had a march or something. If I walk with the flag, the first thing they might say is, because they're so unfamiliar, they would say, what are you? And that starts the conversation. I'm a Moorish American. And that just...
You're not referring to Morocco after that question. When you ask who are you,
don't get that question here. You don't get that. You just don't get it. You don't get any questions. You really don't. You primarily, see, I don't think you understand the state of mind that our people here in America is in. We have lost our identity. I mean, in an extreme way. Like, for instance, because I'm a little bit educated on the matter, if I see somebody flying a flag of Italy, I already make the connection. Oh, he's Italian. So you're expecting that somebody can make the connection, but many people cannot make the connection because...
No, I'm not expecting. That's actually my question, which is the people who are not really fully educated, they're not really familiar with the flags. So when they see that flag, and they ask you what is this flag is for or indicate to. So what you guys are
Oh,
an-
it's the flag of our ancient forefathers and foreparents.
yeah.
It's our national descent flag. That's what we say. You know, it's a flag of our ancient forefathers and foremothers. Like over 10,000 years ago, the principles of this flag was represented on a high level. So nobody, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. What I'm saying is nobody makes a connection to Morocco here in America with this flag. Nobody. Nobody. And now, because it's becoming a more common conversation, and people say, hold up, that looks like the Moroccan flag. Now
Yeah.
you make it a little bit conversation, but primarily, nah.
And well, I'm assuming now from what you're saying is you're not trying to make a connection as more as you're trying to separate the
No,
two.
not
So
necessarily. We want to make the connection to the ancient people of the land as it relates to
not to the
the
country.
ideals and the culture, not necessarily the modern government or the state endorsed Morocco. Nah.
Yeah.
That's not what, and I think that's where the confusion comes when people see the flag and you see, it's like this. If someone was waving the American flag and then you see somebody in another country raise an American flag, you will automatically connect them to the Americas. But if this person was able to articulate and say, listen, this flag that they're waving here it predates then the discovery of America. This predates that. So that's the situation that we're dealing with.
How many are like are they like how many are the Moorish people in general?
Oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot. I would say this. In 1929, there was an estimated of 30,000, and this is 1929. There was an estimated of 30,000 card carrying. I don't have my card with me. We actually carry cards and all of that. Card carrying members for the Moorish Science Temple of America under the leadership of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So today, I mean, there is no official number, but I would give it up into the millions. But that doesn't mean that everybody is practicing the Moorish science ideals the way that I do. Like some people just identify and say I'm a Moorish American. Some people say I'm a Moorish national, whatever that is. I don't subscribe to that. But I subscribe to the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So my wife, my children, my everything, my whole life, you know. But everybody don't do that. Some people just say I'm a Moorish American and just go on what they like.
And just about like the community, is the Moorish strong community, and from where you guys are getting the fund?
No. The Moorish community are the Moorish Science Temple of America, regardless of what group that you're a part of, have suffered through the infighting of 1929, the misinterpretation of the lessons, the misunderstanding of what it's dedicated to. So, for instance, even this conversation that you and I have, around the world right now for Moorish Americans, it becomes a distraction in reality. It becomes a distraction because we're supposed to be depending upon ourselves. We're supposed to be building our own schools. And if somebody wants to make a contribution, then fine.
So when you say yourself, by yourself, is this like a members of the Moorish community?
Yeah. So we like I have to be totally honest. This is why I'm very short with. I watched the interview recently where some brothers I actually know, and they was doing an interview and they were leaning towards Sunni Islam just to be nice. Like I'm telling you, Moors is not praying 5 times a day in public. Moors are not going to Jumu'ah. However, we have Friday, what we call Holy Day meetings, but it's not called specifically Jumu'ah. But you have Moors that would try to water it down, and I'm talking about Moors here in America. If they talk to you, they would say, well, yeah, we have Juma, but we just call it. No, that's not Juma. It's different. You see? And so what I do is I'm a vanguard of the orthodoxy of what Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught. You know, I know it's different than Sunni. I know it's different. Doesn't bother me one bit. It may bother somebody else. So real quick, most Moorish Americans have yet to solve the problem of the confusion of 1929. So I'm working towards, me and my family and the group that I'm heading, our own schools, our own land to grow our own food. Most Moors don't have own land. They don't have their own food. They have to depend on the grocery store. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to do it ourselves. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe my last question before we end up, is there or are there any specific information or recommendations that you want, I would say, the Moroccan people, Morocco in general, to know about?
I will tell you this. In reality, if Moroccans have a true interest in the Moorish American, the Moroccans should try to make some sort of connection with a Moorish American that's responsible and moving in the direction of independence or whatever that may mean to a Moroccan. But
so you mean the initiative should come from the Moroccan? That's what you're saying.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is why. America is the greatest country on the planet Earth.
Okay, sure.
And this is no slight to Morocco.
I think I know from where you're coming now.
So what I'm saying is, if the people of Morocco wanted to connect, if they connect with the right Moorish American, it will benefit them.
Okay.
As well as the Moorish American. Where you're talking about trade, where you're talking about international commerce, it would benefit them. For instance, a friend of mine is in Nigeria right now. He's from Nigeria. He reached out to me, and we're working on shipping clothes that I can get 10 cents a pound here and send it to Nigeria. This is just two people. Imagine if organizations would connect.
But are you doing your part in terms of making this connection?
Well, I am primarily, if that connection happens, I will embrace it. But primarily, our people here that don't know that they're descended from Moors, that don't know their history, I primarily try to listen. You need to wake up to your identity. You're not a black person. What is a black person? Come on. That's my primary focus. As you can see, I'm real passionate, and I can tell.
Sure.
If that opportunity present itself, and it's the right opportunity, I would embrace it. But at this time, my primary focus is to build some sort of infrastructure that we can be proud of.
Sure. Well, do you have any last thing to say?
What is the Moroccan perception, honestly, of the Moorish American? What is the talk going on in Morocco?
So as I mentioned from the beginning, I mean, there are many information and conflict information actually about the Moorish, and we didn't know what are the right and wrong information that we're receiving. So, and that's why we're still looking for the facts. So you have to know the fact before you can do anything, right? So as you said, there are some historical evidence. There are some many things that proves that the Moorish attachment with the Moroccan community. As a Moroccan people, we don't see that yet. So we always claiming that's when you have a family and you have like a member from the family who's being away for a long time. So we always think that person or that member of the family who is the one who should make the effort to go back to the motherland, and he's the one when he comes back, he should prove that he's the right member. He's the member of that family because we didn't see him for a long time. He's like now very much not the same person as we used to see him. So that's the part. We didn't know anything about the Moorish. I will see the majority of the Moroccan people didn't know anything about the Moorish. And you claim that we're the state, we're one of the oldest state in the world, as a Morocco, and I don't think that Morocco at this time is willing to find those evidence, but maybe the Moorish people, they are the one who are supposed to prove that they are part of the
And that's the
Moroccan.
thing. And that's
I totally agree with you. There are informations. There are like a lot of pictures that we saw that the Moorish people exist before in Morocco, and even like as in 100 or even more years ago. But we always still looking for the fact. As I'm interviewing you now, that's kind of a willing to make that bridge between the Morocco and the Moorish people. But at the same time, we always think that's also your part, guys, to make this communication or this
and
communication.
exactly. And let me explain this. Because of the transatlantic slave trade, we don't feel that we have to. I don't. Let me speak for myself. Because of the transatlantic slave trade and what happened to our people, much of the time need to be spent of reclaiming our mind and building something for ourselves instead of being dependent on somebody else. So trying to prove something to the Moroccan national, if you will, would be a waste of time when in fact we have not a school to school our own children. You understand what I'm saying? Like we have not acres of land to grow our own food. If the grocery store shut down today or tomorrow, because America is one of the greatest countries, and you can go to a store in the middle of the night and get anything you want, everything you want. I don't care what it is. But if they were to shut down today or tomorrow, most people that call themselves Black in America, they didn't forgot how to farm. Many, you understand? And
Sure.
so me trying to convince another nation, it
But
really is
but
counterproductive.
but actually, my claim is it's not. We don't see it from a material perspective. We don't see it from what we have and what you guys have.
Right.
And for sure, I mean, we're, as I told you, one of the oldest and I would say strongest kind of economies countries. But what I'm claiming in terms of the cultural perspective, when you have a rich culture, that the communication from the culture side, that the benefits from a culture side, and the bridge that the communication bridge are going to build also going to be from the culture side. So that's the beneficial part that we're talking about, not really that the Moorish people they need Morocco to help them because they're poor, or maybe the Morocco it's a poor country, that's why it needs the Moorish people. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that having this clarification, the cultural, historical clarification, that's what gonna make the beneficial for maybe both sides.
Right. So I got exactly what you're saying. Um, but the state of our people here, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty. I mean, we have millionaires here. We have like, but they just don't identify with a historical personality, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, if everybody around the world like identify historically with something, most people think that they just woke up and they was African Americans. What is that? Do you know what I mean? So see, you have to understand this experience here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so and the thing is that if we were to try to have a conversation, most likely it would turn into conflict, because I'll tell you why. From a religious standpoint, we don't see Islam the way Moroccans see Islam. There will be conflict there.
There are many differences for sure.
You understand what I'm saying? We don't see it the same. You know what I'm saying? Now,
So
we will be more tolerant.
that's why you're not trying to make this communication or the bridge of communication with Morocco, because you're afraid of the conflict.
No. What I'm saying is, I don't mind, because I would debate anybody on the principles of Islam. Any scholar, it doesn't matter to me. What I'm just saying is that it would be, we have bigger things to do than to try to convince somebody that my Islam is legitimate and yours is not. You see what I'm saying? Sure. Because that's what it would come to from a religious perspective. From a social perspective, you know, the foods that we eat. I'm a vegan personally. I'm a vegan. I don't eat meat at all. But from a social perspective, even with food, we have been displaced for so long, we can't even identify with the native food. You see, so the only thing it would be is a philosophical conversation, unless each party agrees that we are related, and regardless of differences, let's work together. Sure. Now, that would be a plus.
Well, I mean, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate all the information you have shared with me. Right. I hope that you will be able to share everything that you want, and I'm sure there are maybe still many things to say in other perspective, maybe. So
I want to share one thing with you real quick and see what you say to this. So real quick, when we identify the more of yesterday, what we looking at is this. This is the phenotype that we, hold up 1 second. I'm about to pull it up.
Just another technical question before you show me the picture. Are you still recording the screen?
Yeah. And I'll send you the recording.
Please, yeah.
So when we see the phenotypical African Moor, we see this. This is the Moor that was in the land called Morocco.
Yeah, and
before it was Morocco, Mauritania. Ancient Mauritania was the name of the land that is called Morocco. Before it was Morocco, you see. So this is what we're connecting to. This is our ancient ancestors, not necessarily the state of Morocco, not necessarily the amalgamation of the people, because many people in Morocco, they feel as though even the Berbers, we have light olive people here in America, and it comes from race mixing. The original people were dark olive people, and so that's what we're referring to when we're talking about Moroccans.
Yeah, I totally get that. Maybe just maybe the confusing part. Maybe it's all about the flag. That's what make the people. Yeah. I think that's the most common thing between Morocco and culture, as I understood from this interview.
Well, what I'm looking forward to, I'm looking for the deep conversation in the historical context of the flag, because as I said, there would have to be a scholarly contest or a scholarly debate or just an intellectual dialogue on the historical account of the flag. Did the flag predate the state of Morocco?
but before that, do you know what the flag is represent? That's maybe, you know.
Yeah, our we call our flag. We don't call our flag the Moroccan flag. Let's be
Okay,
clear. We
yeah,
don't call it the Moroccan flag. We call our flag the Moorish flag.
yeah.
And the 5 points represent, we say, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Okay.
We don't call that the seal of Solomon.
What about the colors then?
Yeah. So the red represents the blood, as well as the green representing the land in which our people inhabited. But it even goes a little deeper than that. But on the surface, that's
Yeah.
the understanding.
Okay. As you say in this interview, I'm interviewing you. I'm not trying to debate for sure with you, but maybe another interview. Maybe we could have someone else to debate, and I'm
Yeah,
just
that'll be excellent if you could do that and you can bring somebody. But make sure that they not just talking, because the way I just pulled up that picture, I'm going to show historical relics to
Sure.
verify what I'm talking about.
Sure, that's very much it. I mean, this video will be just an informational video to my people, not like a debate video. But maybe I'm sure, and another chance we could do in like a debate video between you and somebody else, and they will be facilitating the video. Well, I really want to thank you. I really want to thank you for. I mean, having this great conversation and sharing this great information with us in this video, and that's all. I just want to tell you to stay safe from what's going on like in the States right now with the coronavirus and new wave. And yeah, if you have any last thing to say to the Moroccan people, you have the floor.
I want the Moroccan people to know this, that if you see a Moorish American with a fez on in an interview waving the flag, we do not refer to that flag as the Moroccan flag. Number one, we refer to it emphatically as the Moorish flag. That's number one. Number two, we do not seek, and let me speak for me and those who are under my guidance.
Yeah.
We do not seek to be embraced just because. Understand the connection of the two groups, whether it's on this side of the water or on your side, before you try to embrace. We are not a beggar people, and we must pull ourselves out of the problems that we face here in America that stems from the institution of slavery over 400 years ago. We must do that. But we will accept anyone who chooses to reach out genuinely and brotherly and in love.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
Mr. Tahark, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right. Peace, brother.
Stay safe. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
If you like this interview, please subscribe, share, and like. You say you want the truth, and I'm going to get the truth for you. Check 1 2 1 2. Here we go. You are now listening to the greatest, Taharka Bey. This is Moorish World TV. Oh, you say you want the truth? Well, I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to give you the truth today. Let's go.